and impenetrable, making the atmosphere even gloomier. All rules forbidding smoking in government offices had fallen by the wayside as nerves came to a head. "Well," one of the 7 began, chewing on his pencil, "it's an incredibly risky proposition. You must know that. Is it really worth it?" People had already completely lost interest in the moon missions before the last launch in 1972, another one said. "Why do you think they'd be on board with us going back?" "It could be done," a third said. "We could tell them there's a good chance of finding large amounts of tantalum-73 at the moon's south pole." The room was suddenly buzzing, the tension starting to crescendo. "You don't want to go back to the South Pole, trust me." "Of course not. It'll kill you." "I'm aware of that. If you ask me, I say leave the whole place alone." "Gentlemen," Dr. Blank interrupted, "do you have any idea how important a discovery, tantalum-73, would be? Most current technology is dependent on this material. People would be throwing money at us." "So we're going up there to search for natural resources. I thought," one of the other men said. Dr. Blank interrupted him again. "No, we're not." The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff cleared his throat. "Let me put the cards on the table for you, gentlemen. We are not going to the South Pole of the moon, and whether or not tantalum-73 is found on the moon is completely immaterial." Confusion spread through the room. "I presume some of you are familiar with Project Horizon?" he continued. The man who had spoken first asked, "You mean the research done in the late 50s? The plans to build a military base on the moon? I thought that was scrapped." Dr. Blank shook his head. "The base isn't military." He looked at the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. "It's just a research station, isn't that right?" The chairman didn't answer. He gave the man a friendly look. "It's called Darla 2. It was constructed in the 70s under the name Operation DP7. "But why in the world, why haven't any of us heard of it before?" "All information concerning Darla 2 was classified top secret until just recently, for security reasons." He paused for a second, pondering whether or not he ought to say any more. Dr. Blank beat him to it, explaining, "Darla 2 was built from 1974 to 1976, but the base is in the Sea of Tranquility, where, as you know, Armstrong and Aldrin originally landed in '69. None of the other landings occurred there." "Why was it built?" one of the men who had been quiet up until that point asked. "We found something," Dr. Blank replied. "Could you elaborate?" "We don't know what it is. The plan was to continue our studies and station personnel on the moon, but as you already know, after 1976 we lost most of our funding. And as I hinted, finances weren't the only reason the moon program was terminated. The truth is that what we found up there is not the type of discovery for which one receives money for further research. We would have been asked to leave it alone. So, we pretended it never existed. And, anyway, the signal disappeared. Until it showed up again last fall," the chairman of the Joint Chiefs added. "The signal? It? What the hell is it?" one of the confused men exclaimed. Dr. Blank looked at the man who had spoken, then leaned over and pulled something out of his briefcase. He set a folder on the table and pulled out a 4x6 photo. This picture was taken on the moon by Apollo 15's James Irwin. The astronaut in the photo is David R. Scott. "But who's the other person in the background?" one of the men asked. "We don't know." "You don't know? What the hell is going on here?" "There's a proper time for everything, gentlemen. All the information you're asking for will be made available once we've unanimously voted to proceed with the plan, which, may I remind you, the President himself is in full support of. Now,